Hey guys, my name is Wildcard, and welcome back. So, finally, the Wallabies' first starting team for 2021 has been announced, and it's against France on a Wednesday, playing in Brisbane. So this whole team is a little bit different from what you would normally expect for a test series, as the tests are separated by about 3 or 4 days. So they're playing on Wednesday. They're playing like next week. I think like Tuesday next week, and then they're playing Saturday, the next Saturday. So there's like a week and a half where they're going to play 3 tests. And the France has brought in a pretty young team. So this is kind of like an opportunity for Australia to try out new combinations and new players. There's quite a few potential test debutants on the bench. And so this is an opportunity for Australia to work on their core. And then there's also an opportunity for Australia to try out some new things. So let's have a look at the team. There is some things that, I'm maybe a little bit concerned about some of the selections for not just this game, but for future games of Australian Rugby. Let's have a look at it, and let's have a talk about what is actually happening. So at the starting spot, number 1, James Slipper. Pretty much the foundation of Australian Rugby front row. He's been around since forever. He has 100 test caps. He's up against Jean-Baptiste Gros, who is only has 5 caps? No, only has 9 caps for France, and he's only 22 years of age, so pretty new guy there against James Slipper. I think he's 31. And we have Brandon Pangamosa, only has 8 test caps under himself against Gaëtan Barlot, who is a debutant for France at 24 years of age. And then on the tight head, we have Alan Alatoa, again, a very solid core member of the Wallabies team for many, many years now, up against Dememba Bamba. Alan Alatoa has 43 caps, whereas Bamba only has 14 caps, and he's only 23 years of age. Now, in the second row position, Australia has Matt Phillip with 9 caps against Kilian Gerasi, who's only got 2 caps at 22 years of age. Very young again. And we have Lucan Salakai-Loto playing for Australia with only with 25 caps, up against Romain Taufifenua from France, who is also 25 caps. So this is like an even matchup in the second rower, and I think Romain will be the main receiver for the French team, as he is been around in the French team for quite a while, and he's probably one of the more experienced players on the field for this test match. In fact, is he the most capped player? Yeah, I think he's actually he's close. He's close. Actually, no, he is actually the most capped player for the French. Yes, so he's 25 caps is the most capped player on the French team. That tells you something. And Lucas Salakai-Loto, he's been pretty good for the Reds, and he's just a really, really solid performer for the Wallabies. So looking to really he can really take the next step up for the Wallabies as well. So still a bit of improvement for himself, but it's really good to see him at number 5. And the tied 5 from the Wallabies seems to be really gonna outgun the French. I don't see the French needs to be I don't see the French really matching up the Wallabies tied 5 in the scrums or in the lineouts, to be really, really frank. Just looking at the lack of test caps for the French team and the debuting number 2 for the French, I don't think that's gonna work out for. It's gonna be a bit of a test match. Bit of a struggle for France to win up front. Now we're moving to loose forward at number 6, Rob Valentini up against Dylan Cretin. Valentini has 4 caps in the blind side, and Cretin has 10 caps. So a bit more experience for Cretin. And at number 7 is the captain, Michael Hooper, at 105 caps, the most capped player in the Australian team. And he's also, I think, the youngest player to ever reach 100 caps for Australia. So really, really good. Really just a solid titan for the Australian team. And also his work rate, his just being around the park, he's just, really amazing player for Australia. I have criticized him for sometimes being out of position, but that's something he can work on. It's just a result of him probably overworking a little bit around the field. But Michael Hooper, you really, at the number 7 position, you really can't ask for a better player to be in that spot. Against Anthony Geelong, who is only got 8 caps at 24 years of age. Number 8, Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson has earned himself this spot in the Wallaby team. I think he's done really, really well for the Reds. His support play is really good. He makes line breaks. His running, just being able to pick the line angles to break the advantage line has been excellent for the Reds. So Harry Wilson, it's a really well-earned Wallaby spot. He's only got 6 caps up against Sekou Makalo, who has only got 4 caps for the French team. Now let's have a look at the backs. A little bit surprised for the backs for me. At the start, we have Jake Gordon at number 9. He's the Waratahs number 9. He actually is probably one of the best outstanding players from the Waratahs team. The Waratahs had a really, really awful season, and Jake Gordon is one of the very few players in the Waratahs team able to create opportunities for the team, score points for the team, and just really lift the intensity of the team whenever the team is down. Regardless of how many points are behind, he's always looking at opportunities and being able to score points for the Waratahs. So Jake Gordon, number 9, really, really good. Earned his spot for the Wallabies. But I do think that, in my opinion, I do think that McDermott should probably start here because McDermott is even better than Jake Gordon, and I'm pretty sure Nick White is injured. So, sure, it's against the French, but I do want to see McDermott get more international experience, as McDermott was for me being the best number 9 in Super Rugby AU. He still needs a bit more experience in international rugby to really hold up as the next. He's going to be the future of Australian rugby at number 9 to really get that experience. I really thought they should run McDermott. Jake Gordon's up against Baptiste Couillard, and he's only 5 caps. So both players are number 9 with 5 caps. Noah Lolesio, number 10 with 2 caps. He had a really terrible debut last year against the All Blacks where Wallabies got demolished and he played pretty poorly. He did manage to consolidate with a try, I think, in the second half, or set up for a try. I think he scored a try in the second half to really consolidate a little bit. But overall, he had a pretty difficult debut. He's up against Luis Carbono, who is got 4 caps himself. So it's not really too much of difference, 2 caps to 4 caps. Lolesio has played really, really solid rugby for the Brumbies throughout the Super Rugby AU. He is, probably going forward going to be the starting number 10 for the future of Australian rugby. His kicking has been really, really spot on, and just being really, really good. Just with the fundamentals, he doesn't do too much flashy stuff. Sometimes he tries for the crossfield kicks and stuff, but not so he can still work on how accurate those kicks are. But overall, just the fundamental stuff, he does really, really well. Especially when it comes to kicking. His kicking accuracy is quite high up there. So I'm happy to see Lolesio here and giving an opportunity over Rabbit. At number 11, we have Marika Corambetti. He has 34 caps up against Gaben Villiers, who has only got 4 caps. Corambetti, so Villiers, whilst only have 4 caps, I've got it here. He actually plays for French Sevens team and has 43 caps for the French Sevens team. And so it's not too shabby of a player himself. Also, number 10, Luis Carbono. He plays for Toulon. He has 63 caps for Toulon, and he's got 309 points. So Luis is definitely not a slouch for a number 10 spot. Definitely do not underestimate this number 10, despite the fact he's only got 4 test caps. Corambetti, I've criticized him for being for lacking a little bit in defense. Hopefully we'll see him play a bit better today against the French team, and maybe he can get a couple tries on the board for himself. At number 12, and move to the centers position, number 12 and 13, this has to be like the smallest center combination like in international rugby, right? Like, I had a look at just like Tamura is 182 centimeters tall and 90 kilos. 90 kilos for inside center. While Paisami is shorter than Tamura, 172 centimeters, but Paisami is much, much bulkier at 96 kilos. Still, this combination is really, really like small. Compared to, some of the other centers in international rugby, Owen Farrell is already considered tiny at inside center with 94 kilos, and he's already bigger than Tamura, and he's considered tiny for inside center. Anton Leonard-Brown is 101 kilos. We have Damien Delende is 105 kilos, who's giant for inside center. We have Lukam Yoam for South Africa as well as 98 kilos. Still, like, yeah, I feel like the center position is a little bit light for the Wallabies in terms of weight. But the two players definitely have skills. Tamura has a bit of issue with defense. Paisami don't really have much of issue defense. Very good at attacking, breaking the line. So I do think that against a big center pack, there could be a defensive issue where Tamura is, especially when Hunter Paisami can't present that. Like, when I say defensive issue, I mean more like, I'm not too worried about them missing tackles because I don't think either players... Maybe Tamura has a little bit of tackling issues. Paisami don't really have tackling issues. The issue that I have is like at the breakdown. So a lot of times as a centers, you have to support your center in a breakdown to recycle the ball to get there quick before the forwards can catch up. And I just don't see Tamura covering Paisami at the breakdown effectively with his size. And I don't see Paisami covering Tamura effectively either. So especially if you're up against a big center combination like the South Africans, Delende and Lukamo Young, they can just literally, one guy makes a tackle and the second guy will just blow to blow over one of the, Tamura, for instance, and secure the ball, turn the ball over, without any forwards being needed to make the turnover. So I am a little bit concerned about the breakdowns, but both players are pretty good in attack. It's just defense. I think Tamura may have a bit of tackling issue there too. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think Paisami is okay at 13, but I really think Australia need to find a bigger number 12, bigger player to play 12. Maybe Rhys Hodge or something. Get him to play 12. But yeah, Tamura is really good as the second 5'8", but I just don't. Yeah. Anyway, you can't really win games if you don't make your tackles basically. For the French, they have Jonathan Dainty at number 12. He has 6 caps and is 28 years old. And they have Arthur Vincent at number 13. He has only 11 caps, 21 years old. Very young players. And moving to the last loose backs, we have finishing off Tom Wright, by far one of the best players from the Brumbies team. He's very, very in form. He only has 3 caps for Wallabies, but I'm very looking forward to see how well he will play against the international team. He's a really, really good, this season in particular. He's up against Damien Pennold. He's 22 caps and 24 years of age. Pennold is actually incredibly good he is the most dangerous person for the French team. He's played really well in Six Nations this year, scored a couple of really beautiful tries. He has 45 points scored for the French team. So Damien Pennold, watch out for this guy. He's the danger man on the field for this game. At number 15, we have Tom Banks. He's really in form. Once again, another Brumby. He played really, really, really well this season against both New Zealand teams and Australian teams. He has 11 caps. He's like up against Melvin Jaminet, who is a debutant for the French at 21 years of age. Now, let's have a quickly go through the substitutes for the Wallabies. Starting off, we have Lachlan Nonagan potentially making a debut for the Wallabies against Anthony Itrillard, who is also debuting for the French. Itrillard is 28 years of age. He actually has 130 caps for Toulon and some other caps for other teams as well. He has about almost 200 caps for club rugby, so he's not really like a newbie. He's just new for a French team. We have Angus Bell, number 3 with 3 caps, up against Quinton Walker, who is again another debutant for for French team. He doesn't even have a wiki. He's so new. He's 24 years of age. And then at number 18, the biggest mismatch in the whole like settings, Tanela Tupou, and up against Sipili Falatea, who is also debuting. So the reserve front rowers here, and yeah, the Wallaby reserves are probably gonna blow out the French in the scrums. That's, yeah. Especially depends on when Tupou comes on. I think the French scrums are going to really struggle this game. Maybe even struggle a little bit in the lineouts too. But second half when Tupou comes on, it's just going to be game over. Like, this is going to be tied hair wins all day. Yeah, that's against, yeah. You debuting against Tupou, the Tongan Thor. I just don't see this go well. I'll be very, very, very surprised if these guys hold up against Tupou in the second half. Well, the only way that I could see this happen is if Tupou makes his own mistakes, like slipping down or boring in, gets caught for boring in. But I don't see that happening very, very likely. Anyway, moving on. Number 19, Darcy Swain is debuting potentially for the Wallabies. 19 for French, Baptiste Pesenti. He's got 2 caps. Number 20, Isi Nasrani. He's actually really, really good for the Rebels. I will look forward for him to get on the field and make some impact plays. He's got 8 caps for the Wallabies against Florent Van Bergy, who's also debuting for French. And number 21, we'll have Tate McDermott, 2 caps for the Wallabies. I thought Tate should be starting, but at least he's going to get a run on the second half against Cameron Walkie, who is 5 caps, 22 years of age for the French. Number 21, we'll have Len Ikitau for the Wallabies with 2 caps. Len Ikitau has 0 caps, potentially debuting for the Wallabies against Tebi Iribaran, who's also debuting for the French at 30 years of age and with 279 club games. At 23, we have Andrew Callaway for the Wallabies, potentially debuting, and up against Anthony Bothier with 6 caps for the French. And that is the lineup, guys. So overall, I do think the Wallabies it's got this one in the bag. The front row, the tighter 5 for the Wallabies is much more stronger than the French. The front row reserves for the Wallabies is going to completely blow the French scrum off the feet in the second half. So that's going to be a really bad night for the French, especially in the second half when Tupou comes on. The loose forward, the Wallabies has more experience, and yeah, I would like to see how Hooper, really do. And then the back line, maybe Tuamura and Hunter Pasami will have some issues against like the All Blacks or maybe South Africa, but against this debuting this center combination in French team with 6 and 11 caps, I don't see that to be too big of an issue. And also in the backs, Tom Banks is absolutely spectacular. Up against up against the debutant in fullback, so that's also could be a potential big mismatch there in the lineup. The only place where French might get a try is where Damien Penaud, he is the danger man, so watch out for him. I think he's probably the only hope the French have to scoring a try, to be honest. This looks like to me going to be a bit of a one-sided affair for the Wallabies. But it's the Wallabies. They are predictably unpredictable. And who knows? They lost to Argentina at home with Israel Folau on fullback. You just never know. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow for the news.